You have probably walked the entire length of a grocery store just to grab a gallon of milk. The bread is back there too, so are the eggs, so is almost everything you actually came in for. It feels like bad planning. It is not bad planning. It is one of the most deliberate design decisions in modern retail, and once you see it, you cannot walk into a supermarket the same way again. Think about your last trip. You needed maybe 4 things: milk, eggs, bread, something for dinner, but to get any of them, you had to cross nearly the entire footprint of the store. You passed the bakery, you passed the seasonal display of things nobody needs in July, you passed at least one impulse buy that somehow ended up in your cart. Was that an accident? It was not. The staple items you buy every single week, the ones you would drive across town for if you had to, are called destination items: milk, eggs, bread, butter. Retailers know you're coming for them no matter what, so they place them as far from the entrance as physically possible, not because it is convenient for the layout, because it is convenient for the store's revenues. Paco Underhill has spent decades studying exactly this. He is a retail anthropologist, the founder of a research firm called EnviroCell, and the author of a book called Why We Buy. For years, his teams did something almost nobody else was doing. They followed real shoppers through real stores with clipboards and small cameras, tracking every pause, every turn, every reach toward a shelf. What they found was not random behavior. It was a pattern so consistent you could build an entire industry around it, and retailers did. Here is the mechanism. Every extra foot you walk inside a store is a foot of exposure to products you did not plan to buy. Retail researchers call this dwell time, the amount of time a shopper spends inside the store before checkout. The longer your dwell time, the higher your total spend. This is not a theory. It is one of the most repeated findings in shopper behavior research, and it shows up in category management studies used by grocery chains across the country. Every layout decision, every end cap, every aisle width gets run through the same question: does this keep the shopper here longer? So picture the store as a system built around your predictable needs. You need milk. The store knows you need milk. Instead of placing it near the door, where you could grab it and leave in under a minute, the store places it at the exact opposite end. Now you have to walk past the bakery, which is releasing the smell of fresh bread specifically to trigger hunger. You walk past the produce section, positioned near the entrance because bright colors signal freshness and put you in a buying mood before you have spent $1. You walk past the center aisles, stacked with the highest margin items in the entire store. By the time you reach the milk, you have already passed hundreds of small invitations to buy something else. Herb Sorensen, a shopper scientist who spent his career studying in-store behavior and wrote a book called Inside the Mind of the Shopper, described grocery stores as environments engineered around a single resource, not your money directly, your attention and the physical path your body takes to get what you need. Where your feet go, your eyes go. Where your eyes go, your hand eventually follows. This is not unique to grocery stores. It has a name that goes back to shopping mall design in the 1950s. An Austrian architect named Victor Gruen designed some of the first fully enclosed shopping malls in America, and he built them around a specific psychological effect: confuse a shopper's sense of direction and time just slightly, disorient them gently with layout, lighting, and lack of clear sightlines, and they will slow down, linger, and buy more than they intended. Retail researchers eventually named this effect after him, the Gruen transfer. It describes the exact moment a shopper stops moving with purpose and starts moving with curiosity. Grocery stores did not invent this idea. They inherited it, and they refined it into something even more precise, because unlike a mall, a grocery store has a captive audience that visits weekly and needs specific predictable things. So why does this actually work? Why don't you just get annoyed and shop somewhere else? Because the destination items are non-negotiable. You are not choosing to walk the extra distance. You are being routed there by a floor plan you never agreed to, but also never questioned. Milk goes bad, bread goes bad. You cannot stockpile them for months to avoid the walk, so the store can rely on your return week after week and rebuild the same path in front of you every single time. Here's where it gets more specific. Grocery chains do not place items randomly around that long walk either. Center aisles are typically leased shelf space, meaning brands pay for premium placement at eye level, a practice sometimes called slotting fees in the grocery industry. The most profitable items, not necessarily the most needed items, get the most visible real estate. End caps, the displays at the end of each aisle, are some of the most expensive placements in the entire store because shoppers glance at them even when they are not browsing that aisle. None of this is about helping you shop faster. It is about maximizing what economists and retail analysts call basket size, the total value of what leaves the store in your cart. And now here's the twist, the part that reframes everything you just heard. You would expect this system to make people angry. Frustration should drive customers towards stores with faster, more efficient layout. And yet the opposite has happened. Grocery stores that eliminated the long walk, that placed staples near the entrance for pure convenience, often saw shoppers spend less time in the store and buy less overall. Convenience stores are proof of this on a small scale. They put milk near the front because their entire business model model depends on speed, not exploration. Their average transaction size is a fraction of a full grocery trip. The layout is not an accident there either. It is the same principle in reverse: fast in, fast out, minimal exposure, minimal impulse spend. So the long walk to the back of the store is not a flaw the industry tolerates, it is the actual business model. Grocery margins on staple items like milk and eggs are notoriously thin, sometimes barely above cost. Industry trade publications like Progressive Grocer have written for years about grocery retailers using staples as what is often called a loss leader, an item priced low or sold at thin margins specifically to draw you into the building. The real profit is not in the milk, it is in everything you pick up on the way to get it. This is worth sitting with for a second. The item you came in for is not the product the store is optimizing around. You are the product. Your walking path is the product. Every layout decision has been tested, adjusted, and repeated across thousands of locations because it works reliably enough to be worth the investment, and you never had to be told any of it. You just followed the smell of the bakery, glanced at the seasonal display, grabbed something you did not plan on, and reached the back wall having spent more than you meant to. Here is the part that extends far beyond the grocery store. This same principle, hidden staples in the back, essentials placed at the end of a longer path, shows up anywhere a business benefits from your extended attention. Streaming platforms bury the sign out button behind several menus while surfacing new recommendations on every screen. Airports place the gates deep behind a long corridor of shops and restaurants. Online stores make you scroll through recommended items before you reach your actual cart. In every case, the thing you came for is real. It exists. You will get it, but you will not get it quickly because quickly is not what generates revenue. Once you notice this pattern, you cannot walk through a store, an app, or an airport the same way. You start to ask a quiet question at every long hallway and every extra click. Is this the shortest path, or is this the most profitable one? Most of the time, in spaces built around your regular habits, it is the second one, dressed up to look like the first. So the next time you walk to the back of a grocery store for a gallon of milk, notice everything between the door and the dairy case. None of it is filler. None of it is a coincidence. It is a path built specifically around a need you were always going to have, stretched out just far enough to turn a simple errand into a longer, more expensive one. You did not walk the whole store because the milk was far away. The milk was placed far away so that you would walk the whole store.